All right, let's talk about some of the pitfalls of early retirement. What are some of the things that can derail your early retirement? What do you need to think about if you want to retire early? Let's talk about 3 reasons that you need to be aware of if you're going to retire early. What are some pitfalls if you're retiring early? Well, the first thing you need to think about is Social Security. When are you going to claim Social Security is a question I always like to ask. But what about how is Social Security affected when I stop working early? Because for Social Security, you have 35 earning years that they use to calculate your PIA, which is your primary insurance amount, which is basically the check that you'll get at full retirement age. If you were born after the year of 1960, your full retirement age is 67. If it's before that, if you were born pre-1960, it's 66 and however many months depending on your birthday. Now, you want to understand that your lifetime earnings are what's important to calculating your full retirement amount with Social Security. So over a 35-year period, if you retire early and you don't have 35 working years, then your Social Security will be less than what you're seeing on your statement. Because the statement you get from SSA.gov, Social Security Administration, is basically saying, hey, if you keep earning this income until your full retirement age, this is what your Social Security will be. But if you retire early and you don't make that amount of income, your PIA, your primary insurance amount for Social Security, will be less. So you got to understand that. That's the first pitfall you want to understand if you're going to retire early. The second pitfall you want to be aware of when it comes to retiring early is, where's my health insurance going to come from? What about my health insurance premium? Not just where is it going to come from, because it's probably going to come from the marketplace, which is Obamacare or the Affordable Health Care Act, but how much is that going to cost? Because you've really got to start calculating in, is health insurance going to be for me? Is it going to be for my spouse? Do I have dependents that I have to carry? Listen, the average cost of health care here in Florida for someone in their 50s on the open market is $500 a month. That is a middle grade plan, which is a silver plan on the marketplace, and that's for a single person. Now add in a spouse, that's $1,000. Now maybe add in one kid who's still in high school or college and say it's just $300 for them. Now you're looking at $1,300 a month. Have you planned for that in your early retirement? So if you retire at 55, you've got to have $1,300 extra per month for health insurance. And you got to do that for 10 years. And keep in mind, the inflation on healthcare is running about 9%. Not 3.27, which is the 108-year average for inflation. No, 9%. And if you have chronic health needs, chronic means you're not dying, then you've got to understand, where's the money going to come from for my medical care, my prescriptions? That's the second pitfall that you need to think about if you're going to retire early. Now, the third pitfall you need to be thinking about if you're going to retire early, and we're going to get into this on the board because we're going to look at the first pitfall, which is a lesser Social Security amount. We're going to look at the second pitfall, health insurance. All that's on the board. But the third pitfall is what I like to call the guardrail rule, or as some advisors call it, the risk capacity rule. Now, what is the guardrail rule? Well, for me, the guardrail rule is this. Does my portfolio have the ability to generate the kind of retirement income that I need to last for the duration of my retirement? And am I taking the appropriate amount of risk to earn that distribution for my retirement income? Or am I outside of the guardrails? Because maybe you're taking too much risk, and so you're putting your portfolio at risk of market loss, and you've got to live off that for 30 or 40 years. You're outside of the guardrail. Or maybe you're super conservative and you're not taking enough risk and you're outside of the guardrail. You've got to make sure your portfolio is aligned in the guardrail rule. And we're going to talk about that here in just a second on the board. It's so important. You know, I hear about the 4% rule, and I've talked about the 25X rule on here, the replacement ratio. But you've really got to understand the guardrail rule when it comes to retirement income, because you want your retirement investing account portfolio to work inside of a guardrail, to make sure that it's invested for you where you're at today, to generate the retirement income that you need today, and so that that will be a longevity asset for you. So maybe you're 55, but you still want that asset to be there when you're 90, or you want some kind of bucket approach where you're paying down different buckets, but all that matters is that those buckets are there when you get to 90 or 95. The guardrail rule. It's so important to understand how my income is going to be distributed and how long it's going to last. Hey, if you want to go through a financial EKG with me, look in the description below, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. God bless. Bye-bye.